Do you agree with his words there?
Of course the words matter. That's the reason why we write agreements. You know, I used to work for a vice president who was a lawyer, and she would say all the time, words matter, words are important, because you can move markets with what it is you say when you're in the government. Listen, I think this is the first station of the cross of anybody who's thinking about running for president. You put your book out. To book or not to book is the first thing we know about somebody who's thinking about it. Raphael Warnock, the senator from Georgia, also has a new book out. This is the first thing that people do. I think the question for us is going to be whether or not Donald Trump can withstand having J.D. Vance all be the sort of flavor of the month, flavor of the year, while he's just a few yards down the Oval Office and people are paying attention to Vance and not paying attention to Trump.
But I mean, Trump himself has kind of behind this too, putting J.D. Vance out there as the face of this.
But
and not Marco
why?
Rubio. Where's Marco Rubio?
Well, wait a second. The question here is why, and what, you know, Washington insiders will tell you, and you can take that with a grain of salt, is that he's being put at the face of as the face of this simply because to sink his chances, because this is a very unpopular deal, and whoever is the face of this is going to be sort of skivved in the side, and this is hurting him. Can I just say, as an aside, the glow up of J.D. Vance for this is pretty impressive. The tan, the trimness, the sharp suits. I just want to note, you know, he is presenting himself in a very glowed up fashion.
Like a beast of a week. I mean, he's performed really well with tough interviews over and over and over again. I mean, just to watch that piece of it is an amazing piece of endurance.
He's great in interviews. I've interviewed him, and he is great in interviews. He is an able communicator. He communicates on many levels. That is one of his strong suits.
I give him credit for going on The View. This is foreign territory for him, and I don't know that I would have advised that of most leaders to go into what's probably going to be a hostile environment.
It was tough territory for your former boss.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So I think he performed very well for that.
The fact that he was able to do it does say something about his performance as a political actor.
Well, he didn't screw up, and that was the important
thing. Let's listen to a little bit of it so we can talk a little bit more around it. Here's what he said as part of that interview.
The president knows that a lot of Americans are struggling. In fact, he ran on that. He talked about it, and we've done some things and made some good progress on that point.
He just said he loves the inflation.
What he said, Anna, what he said is that he loves the fact that the inflation is going to come down when this war is over. That's what he said.
That's not what he said. That wasn't a direct. Are you his interpreter or are you his vice president? Come on.
Do you think he's successfully defending the president?
Yeah, I'm gonna dissent from all of you guys from this
We like dissenting opinions.
Advanced Admiration Society. That clip, dozens of other clips, demonstrate one of the biggest problems with J.D. Vance is that he's always good at winning an argument when he is fighting a straw man, when he's lying about the facts, when he is creating, when he's working on a false premise. He said at that press conference yesterday that all of these members of the Israeli cabinet attacked Trump personally. That was a lie. He said he characterized the supporters of the war who had the exact same position as Donald Trump as of 2 weeks ago as not being would not be happy unless every Iranian died and every last bomb was dropped. He demonizes, he characterizes people in his own coalition and supporters of the president, never mind everybody else, going back to his days about admitting that he was going to lie about eating the dogs and eating the cats. And people mistake it as him being this brilliant debater and this brilliant communicator. I think it comes back and bites him in the butt. And the theory of the case that these guys have, and they basically admitted it on Background to Politico, is they think everyone who's criticizing the Memorandum of Understanding and how Trump has handled this is an idiot. It's their words. They think they're all idiots, they think they're all stupid, and they're doing Vance a favor by sticking him with this thing. And they're betting, first of all, I don't think all the people who are criticizing this are idiots. And second of all, betting that Trump is going to stick to what he's promised in this is as much folly as betting that he was going to stick with the war in the first place.
But also is the folly of believing that the Iranians will actually...
For sure. This whole thing could come unglued. I mean, it looks like it was coming unglued this morning.
I mean, he was supposed to go, J.D. Vance was supposed to go to Switzerland and pulled back because of what was going on in Libya.
Vance wants ownership of it. Let him have ownership of
it. J.D.'s team had a strategic leaks about this war, saying he was opposed to it. And so he had this idea that you could separate yourself. And no vice president can separate themselves from the president. Period. End of story. So he goes out once, and the White House obligates him to do this, and he goes out and sells this hard. Well, either way, he's going to be tied to this. So you might as well get the benefit of actually sticking with the team on this. And I think that's the set of politics he's working with in the narrowest sense domestically.
But he's gambling that in the primaries for 28, being the guy who was trying to sell this deal, which I don't think we're ever going to get a final deal. This is the only deal we're ever going to get, and it's not going to stick. He thinks that ownership of this, clear ownership, proud ownership of this, is an asset. And at minimum, that is a massive bet, because a lot can change vis-a-vis us.
The most truthful thing Donald Trump said this week.
He has no other choice,
The most truthful thing Donald Trump said this week is that if it goes well, I'll take credit.
Wait,
if
let's
not,
play it real quick. Let's hear it from his mouth.
Okay.
There's some element to this where you send the vice president. If it works out, great, you look like a genius for sending him. And if it doesn't work out, it's the vice president's fault.
I like that idea, sure. What? This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's a good idea.
Look at Rubio's face in that, though. Oh, yeah. Rubio is just like absolutely like, I am not reacting to this at all. Something else that Donald Trump is reported to have said in a question that was given to him about whether once he leaves the White House, if gold will be removed, he said, no, Cubans like gold. Well, J.D. Vance isn't Cuban. Who's Cuban? Marco Rubio. So, you know, there's this horse race going on between the sort of Rubio wing and the J.D. Vance wing. Democrats are betting that both these wings of the party are going to be royally somethinged because this will all fall apart at some point. So, you know, that is the Democrats' bet. The horse race between the Rubio wing and the Vance wing, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we didn't even get to dive into 2028.
Or the Donald Trump Jr. wing.
Well, there's that too. All right.